At times, it feels as if the United States is split not just by geography or culture, but by the very weather itself. This winter, the nation has been living two completely different stories. One written in snow and ice, the other in sun and warmth. In the east, winter's grip has been unyielding. Frigid temperatures have settled in for weeks, with relentless snowstorms blanketing cities and towns. Streets have turned into icy obstacle courses, and daily routines have been upended by the constant need to shovel, scrape, and bundle up against the biting wind. Meanwhile, out west, it's been a completely different scene. Sunshine dominates the forecast, and temperatures have soared well above normal for this time of year. People are out hiking, biking, and enjoying the kind of weather that feels more like spring than the heart of winter. In some places, it's hard to believe it's even January. This dramatic split isn't just a curiosity, it's having real tangible impacts on people's lives and the environment. The contrast is so stark that it's become a major topic of conversation, from newsrooms to dinner tables. In the east, the relentless snow and ice have led to widespread power outages, dangerous roads, and travel chaos. Schools have closed, flights have been canceled, and emergency crews are working around the clock. Meanwhile, the West faces a different kind of crisis, a dangerous snow drought that threatens water supplies and agriculture. The mountains out west, which should be buried under deep snow by now, are looking alarmingly bare. Reservoirs and rivers that depend on snowmelt are already running low, raising concerns for farmers, cities, and wildlife that rely on this precious resource. This striking contrast is a vivid reminder of just how dynamic and unpredictable our atmosphere can be. Weather patterns can shift dramatically, sometimes in a matter of days, and the effects ripple across the entire country. Now, those very patterns that define this winter are starting to break down. Meteorologists are tracking a major shift in the jet stream, which is about to flip the script for both coasts. Soon, the frozen east will begin to thaw, bringing the risk of flooding as all that snow melts. At the same time, the west will finally see winter storms return, offering hope for much-needed snow in the mountains. It's a powerful reminder that our weather systems are deeply interconnected. What happens in one region can quickly influence conditions thousands of miles away, thanks to the complex dance of air currents and pressure systems. And this dramatic shift is unfolding right now, reshaping the season for millions of Americans and reminding us all just how quickly the weather can turn. For weeks on end, the eastern United States has been gripped by a relentless and punishing cold. Temperatures have plunged far below seasonal norms, and the region has been transformed into a frozen landscape. Every morning, millions have woken up to icy winds, frostbitten windows, and the daunting task of braving the elements just to get through the day. Storm after storm has battered cities and towns, piling on the misery with each new round of snow and ice. Streets have disappeared beneath towering drifts, and cars have vanished under thick blankets of white, making even the simplest errands a challenge. The culprit behind this deep freeze? A persistent and unusual dip in the jet stream, which has acted like an open door, allowing frigid Arctic air to pour southward and settle over the region. This pattern has made daily life a true test of endurance. Historic storms have shut down entire cities, closed highways, and left travelers stranded in airports for days. Schools and businesses have shuttered, and neighborhoods have grown eerily quiet beneath the weight of the snow. At the heart of it all is a displaced polar vortex, a swirling mass of cold air that usually stays locked over the Arctic. But this winter it broke free and sent waves of bone-chilling air straight into the eastern U.S., keeping the region in a stubborn, icy grip. But now, after weeks of relentless cold, there's finally a glimmer of hope. The jet stream is beginning to shift back to its usual path, and the polar vortex is retreating northward, taking the worst of the cold with it. This shift means the endless pipeline of Arctic air is finally shutting off. The bitter winds are easing, and the sun is starting to reclaim the sky, melting away the layers of ice and snow that have dominated the landscape. For millions who have felt trapped in a snow globe, a well-deserved thaw is on the horizon. People are venturing outside without heavy coats, children are playing in slushy parks, and the city is slowly coming back to life as the snow recedes. The worst of this winter's cold is likely behind them. As the sun rises over snow-covered cities, people are shoveling away the last remnants of winter, and rivers are beginning to thaw, signaling a change in the season. Relief is finally on the way. Families are enjoying milder days, joggers are returning to snowless sidewalks, and parks are showing the first hints of spring's arrival. The East can look forward to brighter, warmer days ahead. The atmosphere is finally letting up, and the long, harsh winter is giving way to a gentler chapter. The clouds are parting, and the sun is breaking through, bringing a sense of hope and renewal to the region. A new chapter of winter is about to begin, one marked not by relentless cold, but by the promise of change, recovery, and the slow but steady return of warmth to the eastern United States. While the east shivered, the west basked in warmth. Days felt more like April than February. A stubborn ridge of high pressure blocked storms, leaving cities like San Francisco near record highs and the mountains alarmingly bare. This snow drought is more than a skiing problem, it's a threat to the region's water supply. The snowpack in the Rockies and Sierra Nevada is the West's natural reservoir, slowly melting to feed rivers and fill reservoirs for millions. With so little snow, the future water supply is in jeopardy. The situation is especially concerning after recent floods. Now, the pendulum has swung to the other extreme. The rapid shift from flood to drought highlights just how volatile our weather has become. The West went from too much water to far too little, setting up a challenging spring and summer. If things don't change soon, the consequences could be severe. The stakes couldn't be higher. What's behind this dramatic weather divide? Why are some parts of the country buried in snow, while others bask in sunshine? The answer lies high above our heads, in a powerful force that shapes the weather we experience every day. It all comes down to the jet stream, a fast-moving river of air that snakes its way thousands of miles across the upper atmosphere. This invisible current, traveling at speeds up to 200 miles per hour, acts like a boundary between warm and cold air masses, steering storms and influencing temperatures far below. For weeks, a deep trough in the jet stream has dominated the east, dragging down frigid Arctic air and keeping temperatures well below average. Meanwhile, a stubborn ridge in the west has blocked storms and allowed warm, dry air to settle in, leading to unusually mild conditions and even drought in some areas. But now, the pattern is shifting. The jet stream is flipping. Its once stable ridge over the west is breaking down, while a new trough is digging into the region. This dramatic change is setting the stage for a major weather reversal. As the jet stream dips, it opens the door for a parade of Pacific storms to sweep into the west. These storms are expected to bring desperately needed rain to parched valleys and heavy snow to mountain ranges, replenishing water supplies and easing the snow drought that has gripped the region. At the same time, the east will experience a dramatic shift of its own. A new ridge is building, blocking the path of cold Arctic air and ushering in a milder, more spring-like flow. Cities that have been locked in a deep freeze will finally see a thaw, with blue skies and more comfortable temperatures on the way. This atmospheric switch is a classic example of how interconnected our weather systems are. The same shift that brings storms and snow to the west will bring relief and warmth to the east, all orchestrated by the ever-changing jet stream. It's a powerful reminder that a single change in the jet stream's path can reshape weather across an entire continent, affecting millions of people and countless communities in its wake. For the West, this means a much-needed end to the snow drought, with fresh powder blanketing the mountains and reservoirs beginning to refill. For the East, it's a welcome break from the relentless cold, as families head outdoors to enjoy the milder winter weather. The nation's weather story is about to be rewritten as new patterns take hold and communities adapt to the changing conditions. All eyes are on the jet stream, the invisible force that continues to shape our weather, our seasons, and our lives. Another key player in this weather flip is the polar vortex. Earlier this winter, a lobe of the vortex sagged over Canada, sending Arctic air into the east. Now the vortex is retreating north, closing the door to the coldest air. This shift is tied to the Arctic Oscillation, a ring of wind that, when strong, keeps cold air locked up. Forecasts show this fence tightening, meaning fewer cold outbreaks ahead. As the polar vortex pulls back, the east will finally escape the deep freeze. The harsh start to the year is ending, thanks to these shifting atmospheric drivers. The jet stream and polar vortex are working together to bring a welcome reversal. Warmer days are on the horizon. In the West, snow isn't just for scenery, it's survival. The winter snowpack acts as a frozen reservoir, slowly melting to supply water for cities, farms, and ecosystems. This year's snow drought means less water stored for the dry months ahead. A below-average snowpack leads to lower river flows and shrinking reservoirs, already at historic lows. Water managers may soon face tough choices, restrictions for cities and cutbacks for farmers. That's why the coming storms are so critical. They're not just good news, they're essential. Every inch of new snow is a vital deposit in the West's water bank. The region's future depends on what falls in the next few weeks. The stakes are higher than ever. The numbers tell the story. The Northern Rockies snowpack is 50 to 90% below average. The Central Rockies, source of the Colorado River, are at record lows. Bad news for 40 million people who rely on that water. Utah's Wasatch Range, crucial for Salt Lake City, is also far below normal. Salt Lake City has seen just a fraction of its usual snow, an epic deficit. These shortfalls mean less water for cities, farms, and rivers all summer long. The region's natural reservoirs are dangerously empty. If the snow drought continues, expect water restrictions, crop losses, and higher wildfire risk. That's why the forecasted storms are so eagerly awaited. The West is hoping for a turnaround. Relief is finally on the way for the parched West. The jet stream's flip will open the door for a series of Pacific storms, bringing rounds of rain and, crucially, mountain snow. The Sierra Nevada, Rockies, and Wasatch Range are all set to benefit. While these storms won't erase the deficit overnight, they'll help rebuild the snowpack and replenish water supplies. Meanwhile, the East will enjoy a dramatic warm-up as Arctic air is cut off and milder air moves in. Snow and ice will melt, energy bills will drop, and people can finally shed their heavy coats. This pattern flip is a classic example of how interconnected our weather is. One region's storms mean another's sunshine. For the West, relief comes as rain and snow. For the East, as warmth and sun. The atmosphere is rebalancing, bringing hope to both sides of the nation. It's a powerful demonstration of nature's equilibrium. This winter's wild swings are more than headlines. They're a sign of our increasingly volatile climate. We've seen floods, historic snowstorms, and now a dangerous snow drought, all in a matter of weeks. Our society depends on stable weather, predictable snowmelt, reliable rainfall, and manageable extremes. But as weather grows more unpredictable, our water systems, farms, and energy grids are under stress. The rapid shift from flood to drought in the West shows how hard it is to manage resources in this new reality. Understanding the jet stream and polar vortex isn't just for meteorologists anymore. It affects us all. Being aware of these shifts helps us prepare and adapt, whether it's conserving water or bracing for storms. The Great Weather Flip is a reminder that we live on a dynamic, interconnected planet. By paying attention to these changes, we can better navigate the challenges ahead.